Hi, I'm Sue. Josh has asked me to choose my favourite Bible verse and explain why I love it so much. But you know, that's absolutely impossible to do because I haven't got one. All the verses are precious to me at different times and in different ways. So I can't really pick one. For the Bible is the way that I get closer to the Lord. He speaks to me through His Word. For me, it's a living book. So I'll give you a recent example. I teach in a women's Bible study class, which is part of a global organisation. And very suddenly, an instruction came from our headquarters to close the class immediately because of COVID-19. And to start using Zoom video conferencing, both for our leaders' meetings and for the weekly class discussion groups. Now, we had to get this up and running without being able to speak face to face with anybody. Now, we've got 17 leaders and 2 of them didn't even have internet or a smartphone. And there were 88 women registered on our database, but as we proceeded, we suddenly discovered that many of their details were incorrect and several didn't have email. I sent out over 40 emails and I got just 2 replies. To put all these women into online discussion groups was a nightmare. For 2 weeks solid, I was answering calls and texts, trying to get a system up and running, and it was hopeless. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was trying to teach the leaders who didn't know what they were doing, how to explain to their ladies in their groups what to do, and they didn't know what they were doing. My phone was just pinging every few seconds well into the night time. This nightmare was actually probably quite funny to watch if you were a fly on the wall. My daughter howled laughing when she heard that I was sorting out other people's IT problems. But by Easter time, our school's programme had completely closed down. The 5 new online discussion groups that we'd set up only had 2 to 5 women in each one. And I just felt as though our class was never going to recover from this. But in the middle of it all, we were studying Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. And that week, the same verse came to my attention several times. And it kept popping back into my head. It's this: "Therefore, stand firm, let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labour in the Lord is not in vain." I needed to hear that. And I realised that the Lord was not calling me to be successful. He was only calling me to be faithful. And I came to realise that even if the class did disintegrate through lockdown, then all of this was still not in vain. For the Lord was using setback, frustration and disappointment so that I would know His peace in a way that I'd not known before. And another verse that kept coming back to me over and over was this: "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." Let the peace of Christ rule. His peace was there, but I had to let it rule, to take over and to overcome my anxieties. See, peace isn't an absence of stress. It is experienced through stressful times. And I came to understand that although I was in the middle of a horrible mess, none of it was a waste of time or effort, because it was done for Him. He'd make something of it. He's quite good at sorting out our messes, and none of this work was in vain. So my prayer for you today is that you will experience God speaking to you daily into your situation through His Word, so your relationship with Him will grow stronger. That you will stand firm, letting nothing move you, always giving yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labour in the Lord is not in vain. That's 1 Corinthians 15 verse 58. Bye.